Alright everyone, let's have a look at another final problem in quadratic equations, okay? So, we have a ball is thrust vertically upwards from a machine on the ground, okay? And the height of the ball that's in the air after a certain amount of seconds is given by this quadratic equation. First question, find the height after 1.5 seconds. So this is your time and this is your t. So what they want you to do is basically plug that 1.5 into the equation so you know what the value of h is. Alright, so h equals, my t is 1.5, bracket 4 minus t, so in this case it's minus 1.5. That's basically all you need to do, it's just substitution. Just plug it into the calculator and then we'll get 3.75 meters. So what they're saying is after the ball is put in, like thrusted in the air, after 1.5 seconds it will be 3.75 meters in the air. Okay, now let's have a look at the next question where they want you to find when the ball is at a height of 3 meters. So after how many seconds will the ball be 3 meters up in the air? Well, that means, let me rewrite the equation. So this is the height. The height is 3 meters. So we know the value for h. But what they're asking is, what is t? That's the question. Okay? So, if I write this out, so we've got 3 equals 2. What we need to do now is pretty much the same thing as what we've been doing all this time. Expand the bracket out, bring everything to one side, and solve for t.
So, if I do that, 3 equals 2, that's 4t minus t squared.
Okay? Now, what I want to do is, I'm actually going to bring everything to this side, just because I don't want that minus in front of t squared. I want to work with positive t squared. So if I bring this to the other side, that becomes t squared. This becomes minus 4t, because that's a plus 4t right now. And this is just the same, plus 3 equals to 0. Can you see how I moved these two to the other side here? So all I did was just change the signs of these two into plus and minus. Now after that, same question, can I factorize that? In this case, it's very obvious, yes you can. So t and t, 3, 1, minus on both. So now we've got
t minus 1, bracket t minus 3 equals to 0.
So, remember the technique, looking at each bracket on each side. So here, t equals to 1. And here, t equals to 3. Now, notice how we've got two answers. So what this means is the ball will be 3 meters up in the air in two different time frames. After 1 second and after 3 seconds. Which is the next question. Explain why there are two answers for when the ball is 3 meters in the air. And this is what you gotta know. In real life, when you project or throw an object in the air, it's not just straight upward motion as you think. It's actually in a parabola shape like this. Sorry. It's actually like this. Okay? It's never just straight up and then straight back down to the ground. It's always a curve or a parabola. So, this is where the ball starts. Now, find when the ball is at the height of 3 meters. Let's just say for instance, let's say the 3 meters is at this point here. Okay? So let's say this is where the ball is. 3 meters. Can you see that it's also 3 meters up in the air here, but it's also 3 meters up in the air here. Okay? So this is why you've got two different answers. So what they're saying is, at that point, the time that the ball is 3 meters up in the air is 1 second here, but when it goes up in the air and it goes back down, this point is still 3 meters up in the air, but after 3 seconds. So this is the reason why we've got two different answers. Yeah, makes sense? So if I was to put that in writing, you would write, okay, so let's leave it like that. Alright, final question. Find when the ball is at the ground level. So, basically what they're saying is, can you see from the graph, the ball is at the ground level at two different times again? Here, when it starts, so this is the ground. Think of this as the ground. Okay? So the ball is on the ground when it's starting to go up, and the ball is on the ground when it comes back down. So they want you to find out what that time is and what that time is for that question. How will I find that? Well, let's just get this equation again. Okay, let's write it out. When the ball is at the ground, what do you think is the height going to be? It's 0. Okay, it's 0 meters in the air because it's on the ground. Okay, so when it's at the ground level, that means it's 0 meters. 0 meters. And that is equal to that. And what are we trying to look for here? Find when. So we're trying to look for t when h is equal to 0. So we can get rid of this meters now. Alright, let's solve it. This is actually very straightforward. If you got the equation equal to 0 on the other side, like I said, you just need to look at it individually. So t equals to 0. For the second one, if you have a look, you take this out. Let's solve for 4 minus t equals to 0. That means t just equals to 4 seconds. So this is before and this is when
the ball returns to the ground after it was thrusted into.
Okay, so this is your detailed information on what these two times represent. Alright? So for any motion, just for your future reference, it's always going to start from 0 seconds or hours or whatever the time unit may be, and there's always going to be an ending time. Okay, so that's how you do this type of question, and this is very simple. This is basically question 13 in your exercise. Alright girls, with all those videos and lessons, you should now be able to try out question 1 to 14 exercise 8G. Alright, thanks girls.